Hey there. Hey there. Howdy. I'm Ben Solak, and this is the play sheet. The opening script. As a wise man once said, Jags are good, baby. Okay, throw the Jaguars schedule up on the screen real quick. After week 3, following an emphatic win over the Los Angeles Chargers, the Jags, 2-1, going to contend in the AFC. Offense was looking great, and we said it. We said it with our chest on the play sheet. Jags are good, baby. We believed. And then the Jaguars lost in the next 5 games and 6 of their next 7. So we might have called the putt a little bit early. However, let it be known at this time, I did not doubt. I never doubted, never came close to doubting. Producer Richie didn't doubt. We knew what was coming. Jaguars win 6 of their last 7, beat the Titans twice, and win the division. Now, when we talked about the Jags in week 3, we talked about Doug Pederson, the adult in the room, the head coach coming in to kind of establish a championship culture, solve all of the ills left over from the Urban Meyer era, and critically develop second-year quarterback Trevor Lawrence. All of that could have happened and did happen without the Jaguars making the playoffs, but they did, and they had that game against the Chargers, and much like the season they had this year, the first half wasn't super great. The Jaguars went down 27-0 in the first half. Lawrence had thrown 4 picks at this point, 3 in the first quarter. Everything was a colossal mess. And actually, I want to look at one of those picks with play action. So the theme of today's episode, rule breakers. How you're going to present a certain look, certain formation, certain coverage, and then change things up at the last second, try to catch the other guy with his pants around his ankles, right? And Doug and Trevor do a great job with this over the course of the game, but early, it was Brandon Staley who had the upper hand. This is Trevor's 3rd interception, and pre-snap, we get pre-snap motion. Christian Kirk comes across the formation, and Michael Davis, the corner, follows him. And whenever you have pre-snap motion as a quarterback, and the cover guy follows the motion man, it's probably man coverage, right? He's sticking with his man. Everybody else is going to be manned up, and then the safeties can do, whatever they want. Go too high, go 1 high. We're expecting man coverage. And against man coverage, we have one of Doug Pederson's favorite, probably his favorite concept, mesh. We're going to get one shallow crosser coming across the formation and another shallow crosser coming across the formation. This is the mesh. And we love mesh against man coverage because we have the potential for picks. Guys got to chase guys across the formation. There's going to be bumps. There's going to be runs. We're just going to figure out where our best matchup is, throw the shallow crosser. Behind it, we end up getting like an over route from Christian Kirk, and we get the big post, but it doesn't matter. I want the mesh versus man. Well, that corner might have traveled, but it's not man coverage. Brandon Staley at the last second, bang! That's cover 2 zone, right? Everybody just drops to their underneath zones, and you have a squatting corner right here in Asante Samuel. So Lawrence, this wasn't what he expected. He doesn't know where his eyes are supposed to be. He just kind of sees Evan Ingram with nobody near him and goes, all right, get the ball out to Ingram. Just get it into space. Maybe you can turn up field and pick up a first down. Asante Samuel eyes on it, reading it the whole way. Hops right in front of that route. So a rule break from the Chargers. We travel with the motion so it looks like man, but then it's zone coverage. And this gets Trevor, still young, still a little bit inexperienced. It gets him. So, reasonably, there's a way that this all spirals out of amok for the Jaguars, right? They got Lawrence in his first career playoff start. He has just a terrible beginning. They're down by a ton of scores. There's that internal need, right? There's that worry to try to get it all back in one play. We're down by so much. We need a huge play. Let's push the ball down the field. Let's create something, right? But Doug Pederson's team doesn't do that. This is the adult in the room. This is the championship coach. He's been here before, and he knows that the Jaguars, who've been down multiple scores in games previously, who have come back before at a great end of the season to sneak into the playoffs, he knows they can handle this. He treats them maturely, even though they're a young group. Trevor is the perfect example, right? When you're down all these scores, maybe you want to help your quarterback out, throw a bunch of screens, throw a bunch of play action. Their play action rates actually went way down the later the game went on. They put more on Lawrence's plate, and Lawrence delivered. This is the Jaguars' first touchdown. It's going to be to Evan Ingram. It's at the end of the first half, too. A good way to kind of feel like you've righted the ship going to the halftime locker room, down by only 20 instead of 27, right? Let's talk about a common red zone concept. This is smash, right? We're gonna control the outside corner, which is a little underneath route, and then we're gonna run a corner route behind him into that space that he's not occupying. It's a very common concept, and one of the things that's nice to tag with it is this little seam route, right? Run the seam route from the slot. That way, if this safety, right, they're like a little bit of red quarters look here. If this safety goes and bails and tries to get to that corner route, we can throw to space on the seam route. So this spacing right here, smash with the seam, is just a really common red zone look. Doug Pederson's going to get to this look, but in a different way. instead of having Christian Kirk run the seam, Christian Kirk's going to run the corner all the way from this inside position. Zay Jones still going to control that outside corner. He's going to run his route a little bit deeper, just make the timing work. And then Evan Ingram, he's going to be the guy who gets to this seam spot. But what he'll do is he'll run up about 5 yards, break inside, and then head up. So it's a little in and up, right? And what that does is it forces this trio of Chargers defenders, right? Linebacker Kenneth Murray, corner, and then the safety. It forces them to read the switch release. And in doing so, it just creates a little bit more room. It pulls this linebacker down just a touch. And with the backside post route, controlling the backside safety, this room opens up for Evan Ingram. So remember, this is about rule breaking. Watch the way that the space opens on the Evan Ingram route. All right. Linebacker's about to step down, thinking that this route is going to come crossing over the middle. And when he does, Evan Ingram's up. This safety had to widen with Christian Kirk. Derwin James is still being tied down by Marvin Jones. Nice little window. And we've got 7. Another touchdown for the Jags. This one, third quarter, big shot to Zay Jones. And it's another rule breaker. And what's really cool about it is I'm sure Doug's got this dialed up on Tuesday in the meeting rooms, but look who's getting the play in at the line of scrimmage. And Trevor Lawrence, changing the play, changing the look. Here's what I want. We're going to run this, run that. And why? Well, because the Jaguars are in a trips nub formation. 3 receivers to the top, and then this tight end just attached, a little nub at the end of the offensive line. This is a tricky formation for defenses to deal with. You got a lot of passing opportunity at the top and a lot of run opportunity with this inline tight end at the bottom. Well, what are the Chargers' tendencies against trips? Against trips, the Chargers like a common concept, quarter, half. We're going to cut the field in half here. In quarter, half, we're going to have quarters on one side, quarter safety Derwin James, corner and Asante Samuel, right? They both have a quarter of the field. And then to the top, we're going to play cover 2, right? That's the half. So we're going to have a Alohi Gilman deep half safety, and then it's just a flat defender, curl defender, and a hook defender. Cover 2, right? And why do the Chargers like this against trips? Because a common concept you see come out of trips, right, is this number 3 receiver, Christian Kirk, running the over. And against like cover 3, cover 1, this is a nightmare route to deal with. It's really hard because you have to worry about the run with these defenders, right? This is a good run look over here. And then you can throw the over the top of it. So it's tough to deal with that over route from number 3. What the Chargers do then is they say, all right, Derwin James, quarter safety, I want you to get your eyes to number 3. I want you to get your eyes to Christian Kirk at the snap. And if he's running that over, I want you to plant yourself and take it away, right? We're worried about this route from these formations. So we're going to call this coverage to take away this route from this formation. The Chargers have the call that they want. No, they don't. What we're going to get is we're going to get a huge clear out route from Zay Jones, and then from the number 1 receiver, a deep dig. And what this does is it floods this deep half. Derwin James gets pulled down, right? He gets tied down on that over, and now you have a deep half safety with 2 vertical routes he's responsible for. He's out leveraged. There's too many people in his zone. So this is Trevor Lawrence beautifully at the line of scrimmage, calling up a quarter, half beater. Watch Derwin James. Watch the eyes. Right to Christian Kirk, and he's locked in. He's just waiting. I knew the over route was coming. We got you. Haha, we won. And there goes Zay Jones right behind him. Alohi Gilman is going to be stuck getting tied into the sideline because he has to worry about a vertical route right here. And look at all that room for Zay. Lawrence already got rid of the football. Easiest 40-yard touchdown you'll ever see. Why? Rule breaker. All right, this is where it gets good. We have talked about Doug breaking coverage rules, right? Changing up looks. We have talked about Trevor Lawrence calling plays at the line of scrimmage that break the coverage rules of what he's expecting. And now we get Trevor Lawrence just breaking the rules, period. This is the 2-point conversion attempt. Jaguars need this to make sure a field goal wins the game at the end of the 4th quarter. And they've got dialed up a very common short red zone concept. When you're close to the goal line, we like shield screen. Shield screen is we're going to throw a now route. We're going to throw the ball immediately when we snap it right here to Evan Ingram, that outside player in the bunch. And then we're going to block, and we're going to block, and we're going to see if we can get Evan Ingram the ball, and then boop, he can just kind of like goal line sneak it right in, right? You're just trying to muscle this in a yard. So this is shield screen. Now, let's take it back to before the motion. We got Drew Tranquil yelling something. We got Derwin James kind of peeking over here. Corner is calling out something. Alohi Gilman's coming across. And now just watch up here. Just watch these 3. Remember, the ball's supposed to go to Evan Ingram. Everybody knew, brother. I mean, the outside corner's in on the ball. Alohi Gilman, the safety, is going to beat the block. He's going to be at the goal line. This play has no chance. So I think the Chargers sniff this out. Watch these defensive backs. Watch how quickly they're downhill on this. I think they know. I think they've seen a look and they know. And I think Trevor Lawrence knows that they know, because what Lawrence does here at the line is he just decides, I'm going to jump for it. This is not a called sneak, right? This tackle is going to end up cutting right here. The running back's just going to kind of move out there. Nobody is thinking sneak offensively or defensively. Watch Lawrence jump. Whoop. It's just MJ at the end of Space Jam. It's just, I know that they know, and I'm not willing to let them have it. So I'm going to jump for it. I'm going to get the ball over the line. And he does. And the best thing is on the broadcast film, Doug Pederson, you can see him yelling after this. He's pissed, probably about the fact that Lawrence just went rogue. But this is rule breaking. This is a quarterback who understands what the offense wants, what the defense knows and is going to take away, and he decides to go off script a little bit. And while that can frustrate a coach at times, it's a testament to the guy who, after throwing 4 interceptions, clawing his team all the way back to down 4, had the guts at the 1 yard line to say, yeah, I'm just going to jump for it. So the Jaguars are playing the Chiefs on Saturday. They're like 9-point underdogs. They lost to this team badly in the regular season right before the bye. And the Chiefs are the Chiefs, right? I mean, this is Patrick Mahomes. This is not a team that you beat in the postseason. With that said, the Jaguars are rule breakers. They've done a great job this season of going up against coverages that think they have the advantage, defense that think they have the advantage, and then somehow ending up on top regardless. I don't think the Jags beat the Chiefs. I do think what the Jags have proven is that they belong. I do think that much like the Chiefs, the Jags are good. The Jags are going to be here, and then they're going to be here again, and then they're going to be here for the years to come. They've got the quarterback. They've got the coach. So, emphatically, with our whole chest, this time with no doubt, not calling our shot too early, the Jaguars are good. It would be nice if the entire puzzle was Doug being good and Trevor being good and the Jaguars being good, and that's why they came back from 20 points down against the Chargers, but it's not. While nursing that multi-score lead for pretty much the entire second half, they handed the ball off 7 times and got 7 total yards. The only positive run they had by expected points added in the last 3 quarters of the game was a Justin Herbert scramble, so not a called run. And this week, offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi was fired. Now, Lombardi wasn't fired because the Chargers lost to the Jags. Obviously, that didn't help very much, but that was a whole team failure. He was fired because, as the regular season ended, Justin Herbert still was the last quarterback in the league in terms of average depth of target on early downs. He had one of the lowest explosive play rates of all quarterbacks this season. This is also something that we talked about in an earlier episode of the Play Sheet, how Joe Lombardi was kind of neutering Justin Herbert and the potential of this Chargers offense. The salient point of that episode is that Lombardi's offense wasn't worth it. It's not that it was poorly coached or it didn't execute or the players didn't understand what was going on. It was that it demanded perfection, and from perfection only got like 6-yard gains. It simply, the juice wasn't worth the squeeze. That's why everybody else who has like an insane in the membrane quarterback, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Eagles, the Cowboys, even the Jaguars, that's why all of them get to play football next week and the Chargers don't. Lombardi wasn't getting a dangerous enough offense out of one of the league's premier quarterbacks. That's just not acceptable. So as we transition and we start looking at the Chargers' upcoming offensive coordinator hire, what's critical isn't design. It's not scheme. Like, we just did a bunch of Doug Pederson scheme breakdowns. What we didn't talk about is how often they went for it on 4th down, how they were willing to keep throwing the football, in the same concept with a star quarterback in Trevor Lawrence because they believed he was the guy, he was the winner. It's not about scheme so much as it's about philosophy. So go get Frank Reich. He's a Doug Pederson disciple. Run the West Coast stuff. He used to coach for the Chargers. Go get Mike LaFleur. He runs the Shanahan stuff. He used to be the coordinator of the Jets. Go get Cliff Kingsbury, run the air raid. Go get Georgia offensive coordinator Todd Monken. Run his version of the air raid. Get somebody, get anybody. It's not about the nuts and bolts. It's not about what they run. It's about the overarching philosophy. Who is going to come in here and understand that what we have at quarterback, most teams don't, and accordingly, we have to. It is imperative that we play aggressive, downfield, passing football on early downs, period. That's the whole kit and caboodle. Everything else, running game and designs and language, it's all coloring in the margins. Who understands what Justin Herbert means for this team and who's going to turn us in that direction? Get offensive coordinator right, and the Chargers won't just be back here next year. They'll be playing this weekend next year. That has been it for us here in this episode of The Play Sheet. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for not doubting the Week 3 episode in which we called the Jaguars good, maybe a little bit preemptively. we're going to be doing playoff episodes the rest of the way. So subscribe and we'll catch you next week.